Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh and I sell used stuff on eBay. And today we're talking about how much unlisted inventory you should have on hand if you're trying to do this full time. And the short answer is it really depends. Depends a lot on your business and your situation, but I'm going to give you some factors to consider, an answer to kind of how much unlisted inventory I like to keep on hand, and kind of answer the question, even should you keep any on hand? So let's dive into it. All right, so there's several different factors you should consider when trying to decide how much unlisted inventory you should have on hand. And the first one is really space. How much space do you have? You do not want to fill up all your space. See behind me, I got a lot of boxes that I honestly don't really wish were here, wish were gone. And I'm trying to work through them right now. Got probably about 1,000 comics. There's 2 boxes of fabric over there and some Boozy Bears right here. So trying to get through those this week, maybe next week, we'll see, depending on when I get to them. But number one is space. How much space do you have on hand? You do not want to fill up all your available space with unlisted inventory, because if it's unlisted, it's just sitting there and it's really not doing you a lot of good. There is some good it can be doing you, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, because I do think it's good to keep some unlisted inventory on hand, but not always that great of an idea. If it's taking up too much space, both in physical space and also kind of mental space, you spend a lot of time thinking about it, worrying about it, then you've got too much. So it's an easy problem to get into, because once you start buying in bulk, it's really easy to get a lot of stuff for very cheap that you know you can make money off of. But just because you can make money off of it, just because it's a good deal, doesn't always mean you should buy it. A lot of times you should pass on deals just because you don't have the space or you don't have the time to go through it. And there's always more deals to be had. So that's one big thing I would consider, is just, is this the right deal for the right time? Is my space already filled up? If so, I'm just going to pass on the deal. There's been times where I've just completely quit buying for a while, for weeks or months, just to work through stuff until I get the space. Right now I'm doing okay on space. I'm kind of full, but I'm not overflowing, which I've been in that situation before. So it is what it is. As far as how much I like to keep on hand, I like to have about 2 weeks worth of unlisted inventory on hand. That way I'm not having to actively go out and hunt and try to find a great deal. I can just kind of sit back and wait for the deals to come to me. The last about 2 or 3 months, I've been spending maybe an hour, 2 hours a week sourcing, and that's it. Because I've got the unlisted inventory on hand and I can just kind of patiently wait for people to message me. That's how I got these comics. They sent me a message. That's how I got this fabric. They sent me a message. That's how I got these bears. They sent me a message. I can just kind of wait on those deals, and I'm not having to go out and search and hunt and find those things. Once you have a couple of weeks of inventory on hand, you can kind of just wait for it to go down and wait on those contacts that you've built up to message you. Just wait for them. Those messages will come if you've got those contacts built up. So that's the nice thing about having a couple of weeks, is I can kind of work through things. Also, the last 2 days, we're going to be 3 days tomorrow, we've been snowed in here. Haven't really been able to get out, do anything, go get stuff. So having that extra inventory on hand is really a lot of peace of mind there. Don't have to worry about going out, trying to find stuff to sell. It's all right here. I have about 11 totes outside filled up. And then these boxes that you can see behind me, and that's my unlisted. And that's really about all I have. Got a little bit of stuff up there above my photo station as well, but honestly I could get through all that in a day if I was really getting after it. But I aim for about 2 weeks. I have a little bit more than that right now on hand, just because I bought a lot last week, kind of a lot of sewing machines, as you guys saw, and a lot of CDs. Made it through all the CDs in the week, but I'm trying to transition to a little bit more media right now, which is part of why I'm not working through my back stock as fast, just as we're making it to that transition of media, at least a lot more media, trying to do some more Amazon. And so I'm doing it a little bit slower getting through my back stock. But anyways, there's just some things you should consider. How much space do you have? Whether that is physical space or also mental space. For some people, just having tons of stuff takes up tons of mental, emotional space. And if that's you, don't have a lot of extra on hand. Also, how easy is it for you to get big deals that come to you, like this comic deal or this fabric or whatever? If you don't have a lot of sources that are reaching out to you with big deals that are really good, then maybe you want to have a little bit more on hand. because those big deals aren't coming as often. For me, I have big deals coming quite often. Some of them I turn down, some of them I don't. And just, I only need a couple of weeks because I know every couple of weeks I'm definitely going to be hearing from somebody, some way, some shape, some form with a good deal. So yeah. You don't want to have just like 1 or 2 days worth of inventory on hand, because then you're kind of stressing, always running out of stuff, always having to go look out for something. It's a bad situation to be in, trying to buy stuff when you're completely out of stuff and kind of feeling that pressure there. So I kind of like about 2 weeks for me. That's a good spot for me emotionally, where I know I've got that basically in the bank. Or if I don't source for 2 weeks, or I don't find anything for 2 weeks, nobody reaches out to me for 2 weeks, I'm great. And that's something you kind of got to decide on your own emotionally. How much do you need to feel content and satisfied? For me, about 2 weeks, I feel great. Makes me feel absolutely great. Any more than that, it becomes kind of overwhelming with too much stuff around me, which I have just a little bit too much right now. But not too bad. We'll get through it the next few weeks. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. We'll sit here, chat with me on the floor while we talk about how much stuff you should have on hand. The answer is, it varies. 2 weeks is, I think, probably a pretty good spot for a lot of people, depending on your business model and what you like to do. But thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.